Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Friday, August 30th, 2024. And there's a lot to discuss. I'm going to try to break it down. I just got back from LA earlier this week, and I lost Swami, my beloved Swami, on the day of the full moon on August 19th when I was traveling to see clients. And it was actually a relief because when I landed in LA, there was a really great full moon, and it definitely shone bright, and I could see Swami's face in that full moon, and I knew he was at peace. But like many people, I'm in mourning. Neptune's at the final degree of Pisces, which is the final degree of the zodiac, and I'm very, very lucky to have had him this long in my life, and he touched so many people's lives, and he really embodied a lot of the energy now, and that he was a Taurus with Pisces rising, and he was very much into the arts and music and creativity in all forms, film, writing, reading. He was a very, very creative person, cooking. He loved good food, and he was an amazing cook. He could have been a gourmet chef. But I'm dealing with that loss, and I'm also trying to wrap my head around a lot of big astrology. So let's break it down. We had Mercury stationed direct on August 28th at 21 degrees and 24 minutes of the fixed fire sign of Leo. Now, Mercury got to this degree on July 17th. So think back to the middle of July. That would have been before Mercury retrograded, but it was where it just stationed direct. So it entered its shadow at that time. And I remember actually what I was dealing with at that time period, and now some things I was working on are coming to another level. And Mercury retrograded initially in Virgo at 4 degrees and 7 minutes of Virgo, and then it re-entered Leo where it just stationed direct. It will return to its home sign of Virgo on September 9th, and then it leaves Virgo altogether on September 26th, and it will clear its shadow on September 12th, meaning the degree at which it initially retrograded at 4 degrees of Virgo. So we'll clear the shadow completely on the 12th of September. And then Mercury does love being in Virgo. It's in his dignity, but that's why this retrograde was so challenging. We had Mercury in its dignity. Venus entered Virgo right around that time, and Venus was really fine-tuning the details, but also pointing out the flaws and enhancing the retrograde energy. We had Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, which is another sign ruled by Mercury. So we had a lot of points in Mercury driven signs. So really having that opportunity to reassess how we can improve things and fix things and fine tune things. And Venus doesn't love being in Virgo, but is very detail oriented, saying this works and this doesn't. And then that full moon that I mentioned, we had the mutable T-square building up really about 5 days before that, around the 14th of August. That was a mutable T-square involving Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. Mars conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. We had the first opening square of Saturn in Pisces, which is trying to anchor and structure the dream, squaring Jupiter in Gemini, which is trying to expand and magnetize good fortune through learning and networking and dealing with local businesses and environments and local events. And, Jupiter rules the opposite sign of Sagittarius, so it can be very scattered in Gemini, but it still brings good fortune. And for all of us, it's focusing on small businesses, which are hurting a lot right now. It's focusing on learning and up-leveling our skills and marketing ourselves and networking as much as we're able. But it's been a very tough route. And so now we have Mercury just went direct Again, it's going to clear its shadow on September 12th, remaining in its dignity. We're now in eclipse season, essentially, because we're going to have a new moon on September 2nd. And I can't talk too much about it because I'm just catching up on things. But it's a new moon at 11 degrees and 4 minutes of the mutable earth sign of Virgo, because we are in Virgo season now through the 22nd of September when we have the fall equinox. And the new moon is always a time to plant new seeds and set intentions. It'll be at 9:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the day on Labor Day on September 2nd. And this new moon also forms a mutable T-square. It's not, it's a wide orb, but it opposes Saturn in Pisces. So again, what do we need to address or face? What's not working or what's tempering the new moon burst of energy? And then they both square Jupiter in Gemini. And so Mars is about to leave Gemini, but they're both squaring Jupiter in Gemini, which again is a readjustment, that Jupiter-Saturn square, trying to expand, but figuring what's working and what's not. And really, that peaked again around the day of the full moon in Aquarius, because at that time, we had Venus opposing Saturn and all of this, saying, hey, this doesn't work, this doesn't, that's a no. That's, you got to really deal with this or you haven't faced it. And the other thing at play right now, so we've got Mercury just went direct. We had Venus enter Libra yesterday on September 29th, and it loves being in Libra. It's in its dignity. So we've got that going on, and it will remain in Libra through September 22nd. And that's social energy. That's good for dealing with other people. And then we have Pluto returning to the sign of Capricorn, finishing up its journey in Capricorn that began in 08 and 09 when we had the global financial collapse. And Pluto will return to Capricorn on September 1st through November 19th. And that is a very big deal because that is letting go of old structures and systems in the world and in our lives. We had 2 full moons in Capricorn, if you recall, in June, and then it got again on July 21st. That was after Mercury entered its shadow. Pluto met up with the full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and that was on a Sunday. That was the day it was announced that Biden stepped down. And Pluto in Capricorn deals with government. It deals with people in leadership. It deals with corporations and businesses. There likely are going to be big layoffs or reorganizations with Pluto returning for the final journey in Capricorn, getting ready to re-enter 0 degrees of Aquarius, which we initially started in March 23rd of last year. This is now segueing really to the new age of Aquarius this next 20 years. So we are now in this journey. But until then, we're letting go of the old to make space and clear space for the new. And it's going to be very intense because there will be a lot of endings. Just like my friend Swami, he represented a very bygone era. He's 97. Capricorn rules old institutions and old age. It rules time. And he is of my God, he saw the Great Depression, World War II, so many different things. And he saw the pandemic. He lived long enough to see that as well, which many of his peers did not. But, it's time. It was his time to be let free, in this world we're in now. And for a lot of us, this is going to be very heavy, in our own lives and on the world stage. In the United States, we are in an election year, and that's always very tense, and this is going to be very tough. There could be more people globally that step down, or big things politically and with governments and corporations likely. Okay. And then another twist and turn we have this weekend, Labor Day weekend, is that Uranus stations retrograde at 27 degrees and 15 minutes of the fixed earth sign of Taurus, where it does not love to be, because Taurus is a sign that likes it fixed and slow and steady, and Uranus is chaos and upheaval. And we feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. So we're already definitely feeling it now and have been for a bit. That can bring surprises. That can bring unexpected opportunities, unexpected endings, unexpected news. Mercury did just station direct. During this week on Wednesday, we had Venus oppose Neptune, and that was right around when Mercury was stationing. So again, maybe some lies came out, or maybe you're disproving situations that are not on the level, and that could be happening with this Mercury retrograde and getting out of it now. But with all of this, definitely the Uranus energy is very potent, and Uranus feels like eclipses. And oh, wow, as of September 2nd, we will be officially in eclipse season. Although I always feel we feel it at least a month, we feel it a month before. So we were really starting to feel the eclipse by the middle of August, because we're going to have a lunar eclipse on September 17th and a solar eclipse on October 2nd. They always come in pairs. And the lunar eclipse is going to be at 25 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And that is, we're segueing from the eclipses in the Aries Libra axis to the Pisces Virgo axis. We're not yet done with Libra Aries, but we're starting to segue into that. And that lunar eclipse in Pisces, we've been dealing with Neptune at Shiat, the very last degree of the zodiac, and of Pisces, which is a very difficult fixed star, connected with self-undoing. It's connected with drowning and being lost at sea. I know a couple of people that have it in their natal charts, and they are incredible empaths and creative people and very kind. So this is not always a bad placement. It can be excellent for creativity, but it also is such a vulnerable placement, both of the zodiac and of Pisces, which is a very vulnerable sign. And again, we have Saturn and Neptune co-present in Pisces, which has not happened since the mid 1800s. That's a big deal. And this Uranus station, the other thing about that is that it's setting off where the full moon was on August 19th, because that was at 27 degrees of Aquarius, and this Uranus station squares that point. So again, maybe some things that were happening at that time, or just twists and turns for all of us. But we are now entering eclipse season. Eclipse season is a time when things are very harried and pressured, and big change happens in a very short period of time. Some people and situations can be eclipsed either in or out of our lives, depending. And so it's, if you're in a situation, a relationship where maybe you want to see where this is going, it's not always the ideal time to really get into that serious talk, because we can eclipse a person or a relationship out of our lives. And, wait, till all of it kind of dies down. If you get a really amazing opportunity during this period, that's definitely something to pay attention to, because eclipses bring faded opportunities too. So that would be something to take advantage of. And Mercury is now direct, and it's going to return to its home sign on September 9th. So during some of the eclipse season, it'll be in, the first eclipse will be in its dignity. And, we've got a lot going on. And even in the new moon chart, Venus is in its dignity in Libra, but it's conjunct the south node of karma. There's something we're releasing. The new moon opposes Saturn. There's something maybe that, again, maybe isn't quite yet working, or that, like the Judgment card, something that needs to be faced in the process. And this is going to be a very heavy fall with Pluto finishing up its journey in Capricorn. Inevitably, it will be intense, but Pluto and Neptune are right now in harmony. They're both at the final degree of Capricorn and Pisces, respectively, and they're forming what's known as a sextile. That's an aspect of opportunity. And let's work with dreams as much as we can. It's going to be a very difficult time, but a time for healing. Chiron is currently at the world point at 22 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries, and that defaults back to when Saturn and Pluto met up at the world point on January 12th of 2020 at 22 degrees of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, and forever changed the structures of our world. So a lot to think about. Mercury's direct. Oh, one other thing too. Mars is going to enter Cancer on it's going to enter Cancer on September 4th. Mars is going to retrograde on December 6th in Leo at 6 degrees of Leo. And it's going to enter its shadow on October 5th when it gets to, I believe it's 11 degrees of Cancer. But that's going to be where it stations direct on February 23rd of next year. So it's going to be in Cancer until on and off through April 18th of next year. So Mars only retrogrades once every 2 years. You don't want to initiate a new project, ideally. You don't want to start a new job if you can avoid it. So if there's something you're getting going now, even though it enters its shadow in early October, we have through December when it actually ultimately retrogrades. And then we begin, 25 with Mars retrograde, which is not great. And right after Mars stations direct, Venus will retrograde, which happens once every year and a half, and that will be the beginning of March. So we won't get too far ahead of ourselves, but let's get things going now. And with Pluto and Capricorn, Capricorn is a very driven cardinal sign, very practical. Eliminate things that aren't helping you to move forward in your goals. And I wish you a lot of good luck and a good holiday weekend. Thank you and take care.